Let's talk about how hackers are turning one of your most trusted work tools, Microsoft Teams, into a weapon against you. It's a really sophisticated scam, and you'll be surprised how it all kicks off with a message that's designed to make you feel safe. It sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But for a lot of people, this is a very real, very scary thing. We're not talking about some obvious, sketchy email anymore. We're talking about an attacker who looks, sounds, and acts just like your own IT department, messaging you directly in an app you use every single day. So here's how the trap is set. It's actually pretty brilliant in its simplicity. First, they create a crisis. They hit you with what's called an email bomb. All of a sudden, your inbox is just completely overwhelmed with thousands of spammy newsletter signups. It's chaos. And then, right when you're at your most stressed, a friendly little message pops up on Teams. It's IT support. And hey, they're here to help you out. All you have to do is let them connect to your machine. It's this perfect three-step trick that plays on our natural instinct to accept help when we're in a jam. Now, what makes this scam so darn effective is how good the impersonation is. The attackers use display names that look totally legit, like help desk or technical support. And get this, in some cases, they've even used the actual first and last names of real IT employees at the company they're targeting. So of course, the request seems completely normal. Okay, so let's rewind and see how this thing got started. Back in the spring of 2024, the very first version of this campaign was, well, pretty basic. It didn't need any fancy complex malware. Nope. It just relied on some clever social engineering and common everyday tools that wouldn't set off any alarm bells. The attack was just brutally efficient. Step 1, the email bomb creates panic. Step 2, the Teams call offers a solution. Step 3, the user, who just wants this headache to go away, grants remote access using a totally legitimate tool, sometimes even Microsoft's own Quick Assist. And boom, the second they're in, the attacker runs a few simple scripts, telling the user they're just, applying some updates to fix the problem. And this is literally what the user would see. I mean, look how basic this is. No slick interface, no fancy pop-up, just a raw black and white command prompt asking for their password to apply updates. The only reason this worked at all was because of the trust. The attacker had already done all the hard work, convincing the person they were legit. But as you can probably guess, the attackers didn't stick with the simple stuff for very long. By the summer of 2024, they'd evolved. They figured out that adding a little professional polish to their scam could make it way more believable and get past a lot more suspicion. So here's where we see the first big leap. They went from those clunky, raw command scripts to a custom-built piece of software they named antispam.exe. Now, this wasn't just a technical upgrade, it was a psychological one. All of a sudden, the victim is looking at something that looks and feels like a real program, which makes the whole thing seem so much more legitimate. So instead of that ugly command prompt, the user now sees this, a professional-looking pop-up window. It's even got a little fake progress bar claiming it's downloading email spam filters. See how that connects perfectly back to the original problem? So now, when it asks for your password, it doesn't feel weird at all. It just feels like the final step to finish the update. It's very clever. And this right here is key. Security researchers pointed this out, and it's a big deal. The attackers weren't just using a tool they found somewhere. They were actively building and improving it. It was like a live software development project. With every attack, they were learning what worked, what didn't, and making their malware better for the next victim. And to sneak past antivirus software, they got really tricky. They started wrapping their malware in all these layers of legitimacy. They'd hide it inside the installers for real programs, disguise it to look like a normal system file, and, this is the really alarming part, they even signed their malicious code with stolen, valid security certificates. So to your computer's security checks, these nasty files looked totally safe. But the evolution didn't stop there, not even close. By the fall, the campaign leveled up again, entering its most dangerous phase yet. The attackers basically threw away their homemade tools and replaced them with a truly advanced, destructive arsenal of professional-grade malware. This is where the attack becomes almost invisible. That prompt asking for your password, it went from a command line to a pop-up window to, well, nothing. It evolves into a silent little file that just runs in the background. The user sees absolutely nothing at all. No prompt, no window. It just quietly steals their information without leaving a trace. And if you want to understand just how fast these guys were moving, get this. In a single month, from mid-October to mid-November, researchers saw 15 different versions of their attack software. 15. They were practically iterating and improving their tools on a daily basis. So, the new crown jewel of their arsenal is a nasty piece of work called Dark Gate. And believe me, this isn't just a simple password stealer. This is a full-featured, top-tier backdoor. It gives an attacker total and complete control over an infected computer. It's literally the gateway that opens the door to massive data theft, or even a full-blown ransomware attack.
So what does it actually mean to have Darkgate on your machine? Well, it means the attacker sees everything you do. It records every single key you press. It copies what's on your clipboard. It takes screenshots of your screen. It can even move and click your mouse for you. It steals all your saved passwords from your web browser. And then, once they've taken everything they want, it has a handy little button for them to press that deploys ransomware and locks up your entire system. It's the absolute worst-case scenario.
This chart really tells the whole story, doesn't it? It perfectly sums up the escalation we've been walking through. In less than a year, these threat actors went from simple, clunky batch scripts to polished custom tools, and finally, to incredibly sophisticated professional malware like Darkgate. It's a crystal clear and, frankly, very dangerous progression. Okay, so after hearing all of that doom and gloom, the obvious question is, what in the world can you actually do about it? Well, the good news is there are some very concrete, actionable steps you and your organization can take to shut this exact type of attack down. All right, here's your playbook. First, lock down teams. You can and should change your settings to prevent people from outside your company from just messaging your employees. Second, standardize your remote tools. Your company needs an official, approved list of remote access software, and everything else should be blocked. Third, and this is probably the most important one, train your people. Make sure every single person knows exactly how the real IT department operates so they can spot a fake a mile away. Fourth, patch your systems. Keep everything updated. And finally, block risky network traffic. A lot of these threats come from cheap hosting providers that, if you don't need them for business, can just be blocked entirely. So we'll leave you with this thought. The next time you're having a stressful day, your inbox is a mess, and a helpful message from IT pops up in your chat, just take a breath. Pause for a second and ask yourself, are you absolutely sure who you're talking to? Because these days, the most dangerous threat might just show up disguised as a helping hand.